Well, the transfer window in England has closed. I've done some dealings. This, though, has just landed in my inbox. Evan Donnelly, £4.5 million, and I'm not sure I can turn it down. He's had a so-so start to his time in the Championship, but we are a team blessed with centre-backs. In some ways, we've kind of been planning for this day where a bid would come. The bid has arrived. Do I take it? Unfortunately, I can't negotiate it to be a larger amount. I think I just have to take the money and run. He is going to get a fair chunk of it as part of the sell-on, if I'm not mistaken. But that kind of money we can reinvest into the facilities, into the first team. It makes a world of difference. The board have blocked the deal. I believe the Turkish transfer window closes very soon. I can't see them having another, £2 million to spare. I'll tell you what, Charlie, not been your biggest fan. If you block this deal completely, I'm going to be fuming. I'm just going to say they should reconsider it. If that's how you feel, fair enough. We're happy for the transfer to proceed. Oh, okay. What if it was that easy? Why block it in the first place, Charlie? Right, I'm going to go away and play some more matches. Maybe this deal goes through, maybe it doesn't. Regardless, I can't sign a replacement because our transfer window is closed. We have signed some really exciting players, though. Hello and welcome from the future. Yes, it is a month later in-game. If you're enjoying the series, go down below, leave a like. Has Evan Donnelly left the building? Yeah. Yes, he has. As I already mentioned, we kind of had planned for life without him with some of the signings that we'd made, and I just kind of weighed up the options and decided that Lowry Home was a player I was confident could play for us in the Championship. The 20-year-old's had a good start to his time at the club. I'm not sure if the same can be said for Donnelly, though. Yeah, he has played 2 games so far in the Turkish Super League. 6.55 rating. Now, the impact that sale has had on the finances is pretty monumental. There was a chunk of it that went to Arsenal and a chunk of it that went to the player. But you can see our finances still have the overall balance at close to £4 million. And that is after we have had various board requests granted. We are improving the training facilities. We've increased the junior coaching budget, improved the youth recruitment network. I got a new contract. We've added some new physios. We've actually just finished an international break where I took it upon myself to revamp the staff. And things overall are looking pretty good. We've kind of used all this money to scale up our operation. We went into this year with 2 scouts. I asked for more. I was given 5. And well, those scouts have been busy because we ended last episode with the transfer window still open. Since then, I have splashed some cash. We've signed 4 players, the first of which probably not going to be a massive surprise. Zongo has joined us. Yes, this was a transfer saga over the summer, wasn't it? But we couldn't get his work permit sorted because we didn't have an ESC slot. Aguiar was re-reviewed for his work permit spot in mid-August. He freed up a spot because he qualified for a full work permit. And Zongo, despite not getting a work permit, ordinarily we've been able to sign as our 4th ESC player. The defensive mid has not been amazing so far, but there is no denying he is by far and away our best centre-mid option at the club now. And I feel like to sign him on a free transfer, just simply put, can't be a bad thing. We've signed 3 other players, definitely more kind of punty players for the future. The first, Sheldon Gordon, is an interesting player. He has been granted a work permit to go and play for Wimbledon. Annoyingly, he wasn't granted a work permit when we initially signed him. I'm not sure if Wimbledon had a free ESC slot. Nevertheless, the 19-year-old is a player with bags of potential. On loan in League One. We're going to hope he can kick on a little bit. We snapped him up for £60,000. Yeah, I did take it upon myself on deadline day to basically just burn a little bit of transfer budget on players for the future. Gordon definitely fits that bill. And another man who's maybe not useful immediately, but hopefully will be useful in the future, is Ambrosio. Now, he was signed but didn't get a work permit, so I had to loan him out. Since then, I was able to appeal the work permit, and it has now been granted. Annoyingly, he's on loan in Turkey, where he's not actually being played, but he is improving the 18-year-old. He was someone who was tipped to have loads of potential from my staff. He was available for £200,000, and I thought, you know what? I've got money to spare. The first team's looking good. Let's just go and sign some of the best young players we can, and I think Ambrosio could be absolutely quality. I will admit, if you're wondering, well, where are you going to play him, Jack? I've not really thought that far. He's a centre attacking mid. I don't play with centre attacking mids. Does that matter? Probably. The last player we've signed is one who will actually feature in the first team this year, Jean-Philippe. Yeah, you probably think he's French. No, he's Colombian. He's got 16 finishing, 17 dribbling. He is just a good little attacking option who can play out on the right-hand side, cutting in on his left foot. We snapped him up for £200,000, yet to score in the Championship. I'm sure he'll come good eventually. I hope. I mean, yeah, I hope he does. One of the reasons I decided to sign him was I kind of came to the realisation Hatu maybe wasn't good enough to be a reliable sub option. So we brought in the new boy in Felipe. But because Felipe can play out on the right wing, it did mean for Song, who I have been training to play out on the right, I had to tell him, sorry, mate, I made a mistake. You need to go and play on the left-hand side for us. Of course, he was a hero last time out. And since you're last here, the form has been very, very good. Anyway, those 4 dealings are the only 4 dealings that have gone on. We did loan out various players, but nothing you guys need to concern yourselves with too much. And since you were last here, we played a whole load of football. We started off really well. Things have kind of not gone to plan recently. We fought back from behind to beat West Brom at home in our first home game of the year. 2-1 win. Donnelly scored shortly before he left the club. Kosahase ended up getting the winner. We were the better team in this game. I feel like the stats show that we were dominant. Definitely not the kind of result I was expecting against a strong West Brom team. And after that, we kept the momentum going as we took on Birmingham City. A 1-0 win here took us to 4 wins in our first 4 games of the year. A dominant little display. Aguiar adding another goal to his collection. Now, annoyingly, he is on international duty at the moment, and we've got some pretty difficult games today, a matter of days apart. So this is frustrating. Has 3 goals to his name. His form lately has dropped off just a little bit. As I suppose has our overall team form. I feel like that started when we lost against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. Admittedly, you know, Brighton, Carabao Cup, not the favourites for this game. They are an established Premier League team in this universe, but we took Brendan Rodgers' men to penalties, where in the end, home bottled it. Yeah, Lowry home letting us down. Was unfortunate as well because we'd fought back really heroically in this game, so to lose on penalties felt harsh. In our very next game, first defeat of the season against the team we were promoted with from League One, Bolton Wanderers, led by Michael Carrick. Yeah, Manchester United fans, here's a taster of what you can expect. They absolutely dominated us in this game. Hull City are flying high at the top of the table. We found ourselves 2 goals down inside the first 10 minutes, but with 1 minute left, it was 2-1, and we'd go on to get an equaliser. BJS popping up with an important goal here. One of a few he scored to start the year. O'Connor with the assist from the right-hand side was nice, and this definitely felt like we stole a point. 25% of possession, not many chances in comparison to Hull's, but you know what? Goals are what matter. And you can tell that to Blackburn Rovers, who we beat 1-0. BJS popping up with another goal for us. This one a bit more on the scrappy side of things. He was brave, though. That's what I will say. Battling with the defenders and the goalie. Tucked it into the open goal. That was the only goal in that game. And while having had a little bit of a stumble, we got that result. I was hoping the momentum was going to build, and it didn't. Because against Luton, despite a really, really pretty first goal, the passing in this build-up was nice. It ended up with Garcia, the right wing-back, nodding it in for Aguiar to head in for his 3rd goal of the season. Luton in the second half were just good. Segovia, maybe a goal of the month contender there, into the top corner, and not long later, well, Hardy in goal, question marks. He's not been good. He came out for a free kick, he didn't claim it, and Luton stole all the points. And from bad to worse, because our most recent game, we lost 4-1 against Coventry. I know what you're thinking. Coventry, they're not a bad team, are they? They're 17th in the Championship. Really, really disappointing result, this one. What that does mean is 1 win in our last 6 in all competitions. We've just had an international break to stew things over, and now we've got a game against Wrexham on the Saturday, and then a matter of days later, Millwall on the Tuesday. And in this universe, let me tell you now, Millwall and Wrexham need to be feared. They're in 3rd and 5th respectively. Admittedly, you see things here. If we win a game, we could easily climb up into the playoffs. It is very congested right now in the Championship. Admittedly, you know, a couple of defeats, a couple of results the wrong way, we could easily find ourselves comfortably down in the bottom half. It's early days, but given where the board expectation was attempting to avoid relegation, given where my expectations were narrowly outside the playoffs after 9 games played, really doesn't feel that bad. Now, if you were wondering about the team and tactic, at centre mid, Cardozo I have been persisting with. This is a man I feel like we've got to give game time to try and fulfil his potential. He is tipped to be great. We're training him to play at defensive mid. You might remember for the Stoke game yesterday, I tried kind of that centre mid kind of DM combo. I have decided to revert back to the 2 pressing midfielders. I feel like whilst Cardozo's not the best defensively, just learning to play defensive mid is going to be important. And I do feel like this is a system that can really benefit Zongo. He is by far and away the best defensive mid at the club. And I feel like we can look at him to maybe cover the defensive deficiencies that Cardozo does have. In terms of top performers to start the season, BJS has 6 goals in all competitions. 3 of those have come in the 2 EFL Cup games on off the bench. But in the league, he's looked a little bit hit and miss. But at 20 years old, showing plenty of promise. And that is something I'd say really applies to certain players in the team. Jesus Maria Garcia, I'm wearing the Spain shirt for a reason. It's because of this bloke. He is looking absolutely phenomenal. 2 goals and 1 assist. Admittedly, the average ratings aren't the best. But in terms of his actual development, he is looking solid. And I do look at players like this guy at 18 years old thinking, you know what? 2 or 3 years in the Championship to really find our feet, then making the step up to the Premier League. I feel like that could suit players like Jesus Maria Garcia and also just the rest of our team. When you kind of look at the first team that I've got kind of preliminarily selected here, you can just tell how young the team is. We've got so many players in their early 20s. We've kind of had to go down that route because more experienced players of Championship quality, we can't afford from a wage point of view. And with that in mind, the high potential we do have in this team, I almost feel like just going up into the Premier League right now would be kind of disastrous. In a weird way, and I really do mean this, I feel like just a few years in the Championship would be great just for these players to really find their feet. And I do quickly just want to show you what I'm talking about when I talk about the finances here at the club. This is absolutely insane. If we look at salaries per year, Wolves are leading the way. £66 million per year they are spending on their players. If I scroll down here just a little bit, Sheffield Wednesday, second from bottom, spending 8.5 million. The next lowest is Bolton with 14. We are at the very bottom here. We are spending £4.3 million a year on wages, which is more than 3 times less than the team in 22nd. Like, the difference in finances between ourselves and the teams above us is absolutely bonkers. And unfortunately, we are hamstrung by the fact that in our current stadium, we are limited to a 5,000 capacity, which we are selling out on the regular. I feel like I am going to have to ask the board eventually for a new stadium. Unfortunately, obviously, when it comes to the club's finances, I need to kind of work out where we're levelling off. We're going to have all this Championship money coming in terms of TV money and maybe some prize money. I'd like to think that this year we do end with a bit of a profit, hopefully not a significant loss. And then maybe through board requests like a new stadium, like improving facilities for the long-term future, we can kind of just start to build out the infrastructure here so that we are ready to take that next step. I suppose in a weird way, what I'm saying is probably how Wrexham feel a little bit in real life right now. In this universe, managed by John Terry, they find themselves 5th in the Championship. They've never made it to the Premier League for all the years, but they are very much established as a Championship team. We've got an away day to Wales. Should we go see what it's all about? Okay, folks, for today's away day, we are heading to the northwest. We are heading to Wrexham, and we are heading to the Racecourse Stadium. It has a different naming game. I assume that is just the Welsh for racecourse. Also, where is the stadium? Here it is. Now, first things first, there's lots of parking around the stadium, but you are connected to the university. So I suspect a lot of this parking is university, but maybe the club use it on weekends. Also, I'm not one to judge here. Is this one of the fuggliest stadiums from an aerial point of view ever? It looks like a pair of white briefs, doesn't it? Whoever is here in the middle has got a great package. Looks like they are, or were, building a new stand as well. So maybe we can take a look at that. Of course, with Wrexham climbing up the Football League, they've had to do a lot of infrastructure work, which is going to be interesting. Here is a look at the stadium from the outside, the Racecourse Stadium. Also, bonus points for some funky floodlights. Don't mind me, I'm just investigating the car parking situation around the university. I mean, this is a very, very nice little car park next to the stadium. You've not got far to walk, both to the stadium itself and also the turf. They've literally built a pub on the corner of the ground. I assume this stand was built around the pub that's probably been here decades. Oh my word, I love this. The Google Street View van went by on a match day so we could see all the Wrexham fans having their drinks. Now, the question is, where's the away pub? Don't mind me, I'm just investigating the matchday menu. I think that says beef burger. I can't see the prices. I think it says $5.99. Don't ask me how I can tell that from that. Also, cash only. Cash only in 2024. I might have to take points off for that. I will say this stand here looks like a temporary stand, which is the one that we saw all the building work being done on. And if we go round the side here, I accidentally clicked through here earlier. You can see there's kind of an old stand that I think used to be here that I assume they knocked down at some point. Wrexham fans, please do let me know. Imagine being a university student, right? This is your halls. The football stadium's just there. Like, you can roll out of bed and go to the football. All I'm saying is, if you're a football fan and a Wrexham fan, makes a lot of sense to go to Wrexham University, really, doesn't it? Anyway, shall we have a look in the stadium and see what we can see? Can we see anything? There's no options. The only option is in the pub, in the turf. What have you got for me? It's not even in the pub. It's not even in the pub and it's not even on the match day. There is no dots. There's no dots. I'm so sad. Hang on a minute. I just dragged my mouse onto the stand and it put me here. I mean, drone footage? I don't know how I got here. We can actually see the temporary stand that I assume they used last season. Wrexham fans, is there a more permanent stand being built? What is the situation going on here? This is April 2025 and it looks like it's maybe being put up rather than being put down. I mean, the stadium itself, look at this for a scenic location. You've got beautiful Wales, the valleys, meandering away. You're next to the train station for rail links. I mean, it's got a bit of character, hasn't it? I will say, if you're looking for extracurricular activities outside of the stadium itself, you are going to struggle. Also, why is it called the race course? There's no athletics track around the edge, or maybe it used to be greyhound racing? No idea. If Wrexham fans can fill me in on the lore, I would love to know. I have many questions. That does bring this on to the big question, though. Is it a good away day? I don't think it's an awful away day. I like the character. I like the pub that is like next to the stand that has been built around. But a temporary stadium? Not sure about that one, Chief. And also the lack of footage inside kind of has to hurt it a little bit. I'm going to give the Stock K Ras, I hope I'm saying that correctly, 5 out of 10. I think 5 is respectable. Anyway, that away day really has distracted me away from the big decisions. I need to make a decision on the goalkeeping going on here at the club because so far Hardy has not really shone. Admittedly, 3 clean sheets in 9 is not awful. He did have a clanger, though, recently that's kind of sat in the back of my mind, and he did just concede 4. As for Owen Barrett, he was pretty good when we used him in the EFL Cup, and he was our #1 goalie last season. But coming off the back of an international break, this might be controversial. I'm going to give Barrett the start. The other issue I do have, and I already mentioned this, Aguiar is on international duty, so I need someone to step up. Now, Landers so far is yet to score in the Championship. I brought him on off the bench 6 times and he's not delivered, but he did look good in the EFL Cup. It might be controversial. I think I'm going to go with Jean-Philippe, the new guy we've signed from Colombia. He is on a not insignificant wage of £4,500. He's looked not too bad in the couple of appearances we've given him. It's his first time starting in his natural position at striker. And it does also mean that Andrew Cooper, who's missed the whole of the start of the season through injury, he can come onto the bench today. There are a couple of players, when I look at the average ratings, I'd love to see step up. One example is Denner. He had an awful start to the year. He got that red card in a game. He's been performing okay at the left wing back, but just off the back of his recent form, I'm going to bring in Sassy and give him some game time because the 20-year-old has been training really, really well, and I just feel like he deserves a start. He has been one of our better form players. 2 assists already in the league. Going for a bit of an experiment in the goalie position. The new centre-mid duo is making its live com debut. Aguiar, our starting striker, is out injured. We've been in some patchy form. 1 win in our last 6, and we're taking on a team in the playoffs away from home. This just has all the recipes for us losing, doesn't it, really? Okay, let's see how we fare in this game today. Wrexham building up the ball on the near side. Dyer looking to bring it out. We're kind of shepherding him wide, but then allowing him a load of space inside. He dinks it forward. Downs flicks it on. And, oh, Owen Barrett. Oh dear. Damien Downs with his first goal of the season. 3 minutes into this one. The keeper. I mean, if you're going to come out, you've got to come out and commit. He kind of comes halfway and Downs just nods it over. I mean, on the one hand, maybe I shouldn't have started Barrett. On the other hand, I feel like we have to give him a chance. And I'm not going to let that one calamitous decision kind of sway my decision making. We've got to keep him on the pitch. This isn't ice hockey. I can't pull him off, and I couldn't pull him off even if I wanted to, because I don't have a goalie on the bench. If I want to find a positive, off the back of Wrexham getting that goal, we've not crumbled in this game. We've had 5 shots to their 3, not having enough on target, and, well, there's not been a lot of highlights. Well, you know, there's not been any highlights. I'm looking at the stats in this game thinking, well, it can't be going that badly, but we're not being shown anything, and that kind of, to me, screams we're not creating good opportunities. We're having a lot of pop shots, low XG for the number of shots we've had as well, really. Averaging below a 0.1 XG per shot is a little troublesome. And the only thing that can make this worse, really, is if Wrexham were to grab a second here. We've created a little bit, but not enough. That could change quickly, though. Wrexham, though, carving this open through the middle. That's a little bit surprising and a little bit concerning. Cherif plays it wide. We've got to be a bit wary here. The number 23 skips past his man, pulls it to the edge. And when I said this could be a game that has a defeat written all over it, at 2-0 down, we're going to have to do a lot to get anything here. I kind of look at things here thinking we're in an okay defensive shape. I'm going to be honest, Cherif is just given way too much space. I'm looking for our defensive mid, Cardozo. I feel like should have been occupying that space. So it's almost as if he isn't naturally able to play defensive mid, but he's got to learn on the job. Wrexham, please stop. Please stop bullying us. This is mean. Down shoots, down scores. It's a banger free kick and it's 3-0. When we won our first 4 games in a row, I was sat thinking in the back of my mind, playoffs? Maybe? Yeah, the reality check, I think, has sunk in here. We conceded 4 goals in our last game against Coventry. We've had an international break. I've changed some stuff up. We're 3 goals down here. I can already imagine the comments now. People are going to be going, well, you sold Donnelly, your second best centre-back. What did you think was going to happen? I don't feel like he was the entire reason for our success. I don't feel like the players that we've brought in to replace him are like a massive step down. I just feel like we were overperforming before. I'm looking at BJS. I'm looking at Jean-Philippe thinking, might be time to change things up. Cardozo, can you provide an inspiration? Our playmaker, the Bolivian international. He's going to whip it in towards Haddad, who does have, I think, 18 or 19 jump reach. He doesn't win it, but we've got players committed to the attack. If we get 1 goal back, I'll dare to dream. Garcia, I'm wearing your shirt, mate. He shoots, it deflects, it hits the post. Oh, the little Spaniard nearly proved a goal scorer again. He's already got 2 for the year. Barrett is on a 5.94. I'm not entirely sure if you can really blame him for the 2nd or 3rd goal, but he's not had that many shots besides the goals that have been scored to deal with. BJS is on a 6.18. He's coming off. Because of injuries, I'm going to have to move Jean-Philippe out onto the right-hand side, and up top, I am going to bring in Landers. Kosa Hasse's not had a great game either. Let's take him off for her 2. I threw Sassy in at the deep end. I dropped Denner. That might have been a mistake. Let's bring in the left wing back as well. I think at this point, out of possession, we've got to try and be a bit more proactive as well. So I'm going to move the fullbacks forward and switch them to be pressing wing backs. I really thought that with Wrexham's kind of 2 striker out of possession system and our 3 centre backs, we could kind of just bypass it and make it work. Jean-Philippe's now got injured. What are we doing? This is going from bad to worse. I really don't have a right attacking mid option to bring in. I guess your PC Amet is the man to bring in. Although I can only play him at wide midfielder, so maybe I should just bring in someone else. Now, you know what? Let's bring in Cooper. Let's play him as a 2nd striker, although we'll play him as a tracking centre forward. And then in possession, he can just play off Landers as well, although we will play him as a channel forward. I feel like Wrexham have got that 3rd goal and they have just shut up shop. They've not really created a lot in this game. We've got a better XG than them, but it means absolutely diddly squat in this game here. XG only really tells part of a story. The story of this game has been Wrexham being clinical, scoring a few beautiful goals, and we could be in danger of seeing another fly, and that only just went wide. I wouldn't mind, but I'm a little bit concerned about that injury on the right wing because we've got a couple there already, and in addition to that, the Millwall game we've got following on from this, who are another team flying high, we play them in like 3 days' time, so there's not a lot of a turnaround here between matches, although we should be largely rested. Garcia, I'm wearing your shirt, son. I'm wearing a Spanish national team kit. You're running straight into your man. Wrexham, please stop. Stop. We are already dead. We are already dead. They're not stopping. They've scored another. Get me out of it here. I've never heard of Damien Downs. He's got a hat-trick today. I mean, a little give and go. Dinked over the top. Lowry home. Lowry has got concrete in his shoes and can't be asked to run more like. I should have gone with Lowry home more like, please get me home. Look, there's a kickoff highlight. We could come back. 14 minutes. 4 goals needed. If we do it, it'll be the greatest comeback ever seen. Cardozo, no idea how to play defensive mid. Maybe I should change his in possession instruction to defensive mid as well, simply so he gets a bit more game time in the position to learn it. Look at that pass. It was awful. I thought he was going to ping a pass from deep and it was going to be beautiful. Instead, I'm shown that. I feel like that really epitomises the game today. Football Manager has a sense of humour, doesn't it? Wilmot gets it forward. Imagine if they score another. It's not been a good day today. I can openly admit it. Barrett in goals had a nightmare. Can we at least get a goal for the travelling fans? Denner whips it in. Cooper. I don't know how he's missed it. You know what? Better to miss a sitter like that when we're 4-0 down than in a game where we're desperately needing a winner. Cardozo in possession. Just play defensive mid, mate. Might as well play it for a bit of game time. Connor O'Loughlin is a man I've not given many game minutes to recently. I think I'm going to have to change something up in the back three. He's probably going to start the next game. What a bizarre game of football. Like, the stats kind of suggest we've really not been that bad. We've lost 4-0, but I don't feel like we're that bad. Maybe I'm an idiot. You guys can let me know. If they get another, I'm going to look like an absolute moron. We've got 3 minutes to try and get 1 goal for the travelling fans. Landers gives it wide to Denner, who I can say with confidence will be starting the next game. Hatu, Zongo, on his live commentary debut, almost an incredible pass. Garcia is going to keep it alive. Maria Garcia, Landers, header. I mean, Joshy Landers. What a first goal of the season. Okonkwo's devastated he's lost his clean sheet, but it means nothing. I mean, that goal, too little, too late. Nice to see Maria Garcia get another assist. But yeah, we've lost 4-1. Owen Barrett, 5.8. He won't be in goal for the next game. Well, that result there does see Wrexham climb up into second, which I guess is an indicator as to their quality. Not that that's much consolation for me, nor is this. Jean-Philippe, torn ACL. He's out for 6 to 7 months. 6 to 7 months. I brought him in to be the reinforcement player who I thought I maybe needed for attacking depth, and his season is basically done. I feel like crying. I'll tell you what, if last episode was everything just going just about right, today is everything going just about wrong. If I want to find a positive, Millwall, who were taken up on in the next game, just lost to Norwich 1-0. Admittedly, you know that Norwich team, the one I was really happy about beating, said, you know, it might be the hardest game of the season at Carrow Road. They're down in 16th. They are awful this year. Anyway, our next game against Millwall is 3 days away. I'm going to rest up the players. There's going to be some changes in the starting 11. I'm fuming. Well, let's be real. Can't really go worse than the last game, this game against Millwall, now can it? I suppose technically it could. Millwall are going to be looking to bounce back, having just lost. They find themselves right on the fringes of the playoff spots. As for ourselves, we are dangerously close from slipping into the bottom half. Now, in terms of team news, obviously, Aguiar still on international duty. I didn't realise he is away until the start of next month, so I probably needed a long-term solution for him. To be fair, Jean-Philippe probably would have been that option. Obviously, he is now injured for the rest of the year, so Landers, who did get that late goal, is going to start up top. In terms of the rest of the team, Denner is coming in at left wing back. O'Loughlin is starting at centre back. I'm dropping Lowry home down to the bench. And in goal, Charlie Hardy. Welcome back to the first team. Yeah, Barrett. I don't want to talk about what happened with Barrett in that last one. Okay, let's get into this one. 1 win in 7. Oh, I'll tell you what, we desperately need a result today. I mean, to be fair, the form that we're in kind of is representative of, I think, the quality of team that we have in the Championship. But having started so bright, I don't want us to lose this momentum. Well, I was going to say, it's already gone, hasn't it, the momentum? But we need to try and regain the momentum. Millwall, out of possession, are playing the exact same shape that just hurt us really badly against Wrexham. So normally I have distribute to centre-backs on, but because they're playing with 2 strikers, I feel like it's just an unnecessary risk. So I'm going to put the distribution to the full-backs, which, of course, will actually be our wing-backs. And just because they're playing with 2 defensive mids sat deeper, I'm going to get rid of the pass into space instruction. I feel like when you're playing against this kind of shape, there's just not that much space in the final third to actually play the ball into. Okay, 11 minutes played. Ball whipped in dangerously. It's headed away, but only as far as Maria Garcia, who, well, puts a wayward pass in. That is concerning. And now Millwall maybe looking to spring the counter-attack, although Haddad wins it nicely. And now the centre-back's going on a run. Haddad, where are you going? BJS. Should not be doing that. What is that? I was getting ready for a ball of quality, a shot of quality instead. We got neither. Cardozo over the corner on the far side. What can the Bolivian beast do? He whips in. Haddad heads it. Evans just about saves that off the line. Oh, we're getting goal line technology for the first time in a live com. Was the ball over the line? I'll tell you what, when the goal line technology replays work really well in Football Manager, it actually looks quite good. That one... The camera operator has not timed that at the right time, has he? 20 minutes played in this game. Millwall yet to have a shot on target. So if I want to try to find a positive, we're keeping them quiet. We're creating a lot, but we're not creating any goals yet. And that is concerning. Landers holds up to Garcia. Haddad. Garcia, look how deep they are defending here. We've got so many players in the attack. BJS cutting inside, dancing with the ball, the number 7, gives it back to Zongo. O'Loughlin, of course, slotting into the team, gives it to her dad. He spreads it wide. Maria Garcia has so much space. The number 2 shoots. Should he have shot? I mean, it nearly went in, to be fair, but feels like a waste. 10 minutes left of this first half. Hardy, we brought him back into the team. He's had absolutely nothing to do so far. He has kept a clean sheet in a third of his league games he's played in. Maybe he can make it 4 in 10 today, although maybe I'll get a bit carried away. There's lots of football to be played here as Denner brings it forward. Here, of course, he's been recalled back to the team. Skips past his man, puts it in. Landers shoots, it's denied. That feels like a great opportunity. Suljic on the overlap, playing as that wide centre-back, getting into a dangerous area, but he couldn't get the ball into the box. Right, Cardozo, I need a moment of magic. I need Cardozo brilliance. What can the youngster deliver? He hits the woodwork. How are we not ahead in this game? All I'm saying is if Wrexham have that chance, that goes in off the post. Not that I'm bitter. I mean, at the break, it's 0-0, and we have been so far and away the better team, we desperately need to convert this into a result. I feel like in the final third we've been lacking. It's almost as if a load of our star players are currently on international duty or just injured. Oh, it's a frustrating time of year, isn't it? I mean, let's look at the positives. We've looked good in this game. We've not looked outclassed. We've looked a step above Millwall, to be honest. But we need to show a bit more going forward. I'm tempted to do something that we did with this shape when I played it in the non-leagues, and that is in possession, go to 2 strikers, play Kosa Hase as a channel forward, and then play, BJS as a channel forward as well. These are 2 players who can play in the wide attacking mid-areas, but to be honest, they're pretty well suited to play as channel midfielders, especially with the pace and acceleration these 2 guys have. And actually, just in the context of our system, actually moving them from inside outlet wingers when we don't have the ball to play as strikers does kind of make sense. If we are going to go down this route, I'm going to try and encourage us to play it down both flanks a little bit more, the play. But I am going to tell the players to bypass the press if it happens. We're already playing quite direct, but I want us to try and get the ball forward to the front 3 that little bit quicker. We're going to play wider, and I'm going to tell the players to hit early crosses as well from those wing-back areas. We're going for it here. We need a win. You know what? We're at home. Let's go attacking. Let's be brave. Let's be Avenue. Cardozo puts in a ball. Zango is lurking at the back post. Falls to Landers. Takes it down. Shoots. It deflects off the arse of a defender. Doesn't matter. It's in the back of the net. He's got 2 goals in 2 games, Landers. Be honest, when the ball got headed in out to him at the edge of the area, you were hoping he was going to volley it in, weren't you? I was. Instead, he shoots. It deflects off their number 3. It ends up in the back of the net. Doesn't matter how it goes in. They all count. I suppose now there's a temptation to go off the more attacking system. You know what? We'll go back to balanced. I'm going to keep the actual attacking shape that we are using right now because I feel like it could work quite nicely, and I feel like a second goal isn't necessarily a bad thing to pursue. Ball whipped in. BJS. Garcia has grabbed another. He loves a goal, the right wing back. The 18-year-old from Spain is dishing out the pain. It's weird to think he has Premier League potential. He could be a man here for the long haul. This could be a sight that Lewis FC fans see for a while. Great little finish at the near post. And suddenly all those attackers who had really bad ratings are playing quite well. I am still going to make some changes here. I'm going to bring in Hatu out on one wing, and I'm going to take off BJS, and we are going to bring in Rodriguez for what I think might be his first appearance in the Championship. In fact, to tell a lie, he has made a few appearances on off the bench. He's still not started a game for us. That may well happen with all the injuries mounting up. Cardozo's not had the best game at centre mid. You know what? Alvarez, I need your legs, son. He is a player, Alvarez, who I feel like we are going to call upon fairly frequently. He's not the best playmaker in the world. I am just going to tell him to play as a regular centre mid. 2 goals to the good. Clean sheet currently on, well, for it. Millwall not doing a lot in this game, it has to be said, but that is pleasing. We needed to bounce back after that Wrexham game. Like I mentioned, we've been in an awful run of form, and I do feel like in Football Manager, morale is important, momentum's important. If you go for a spell of not winning, it can just go from bad to worse. But maybe this is the kind of result to put the record straight. And you know what? A third goal, a little bit of a sprinkling of a cherry on top would be nice. Rodriguez scores. It's 3-0. Did he head that in, or did that go in off his shoulder? It was a weird animation where he kind of turned his head. I want to believe he shouldered it in. We might get a better idea from this angle. Alvarez involved in the build-up play. Ball whipped in. Did Rodriguez head it? He did head it. Lovely little header. First goal in the championship for the Mexican. And that is good night Millwall, surely. You know what? Praise the players. This is what we needed. This is what we want to see from our players. This is what we are capable of. When we have won this year, we've not really won by more than one goal often. And for our goal difference, this could be kind of useful. This game here finishes 3-0. We made changes at half-time. They worked kind of well. I wonder if that is food for thought going forward. I'm very happy with the way you played. Green ratings across the board. That is a sight we've not seen much this year. That result does move us up to 8th. I don't want to say it too loudly. We're only goal difference away from the playoffs again. I mean, in terms of matches today, a little bit of a mixed bag. A win by 3 goals, a defeat by 3 goals. Now, looking further ahead, we have got a run of difficult games, so I'm unsure if we're really going to be able to maintain this challenge. Given the club's current financial predicament, to be honest, the FA Cup is something I'm very much looking forward to again. We enter the 3rd round towards the start of January in around 2 months. Might be back then for the next episode, you know. If we are back, then the transfer window might be opening. We've got a lot of transfer budget and wage budget, and who knows, if we can have a good first half to the season, reputation rises a little bit, maybe there'll be some good transfer targets out there we can actually sign. Anyway, folks, really appreciate you guys watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as always. Go down below, show some love. We are back tomorrow with more, and until then, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.